For the first time since humans have been able to observe it, the North Pole may be ice-free this September. Mark Serez of the National Snow and Ice Data Center says the odds are 50-50.
My view is that we're going to rival the losses of last year, and I think there's a very good chance of even exceeding them. And that's because we started with even thinner ice this spring than we did last spring.
Arctic sea ice is usually 1 to 3 meters or as much as 9 feet thick. It grows during autumn and winter and shrinks in spring and summer. Scientists have monitored sea ice conditions for 50 years. The changes in the last decade? Astounding to oceanographer Marika Holland.
I think the sea ice loss that we observed in the summer of 2007 was shocking. We've been seeing it retreat year after year, but the change that happened between 2006 and 2007 was so dramatic that I think most of us, every morning, we were checking to see how low it had gone.
But how did it happen? Holland's climate models show both expansion and contraction of ice, still the late 20th century. But by the year 2000, a major retreat. And looking ahead, by 2040 perhaps no sea ice anywhere in the Arctic during some months of the year. She says both global warming and natural weather patterns are at play. The Arctic at the top of our planet is unlike the Antarctic in the south, where sea ice levels have been stable. The best known consequence of disappearing sea ice in the Arctic is the loss of polar bear habitat, a creature that's become the poster child for global warming.
But the changes we're seeing are actually cascading right down through the food chain because so much of the ecology of the Arctic is intertwined with the sea ice cover.
But since humans don't live at the North Pole, some may wonder, what's the big deal? The answer? You can't mess with one part of the planet without impacting other places.
There have been studies done looking at ice cover loss, its influence on winds, and in turn on precipitation, showing things like reductions in precipitation in the western United States, which is a very water resource limited region. Changes in precipitation in Europe as well.
Ironically, global commerce may see some benefits from the disappearing sea ice. Last summer, for the first time, the Northwest Passage opened up for shipping. Cargo may be able to move from Asia to North America a lot more efficiently. The bright surfaces of ice and snow reflects about 80% of the sun's heat, keeping the polar region cooler and moderating the climate worldwide. But when that ice is gone, dark ocean waters instead absorb and trap almost all that solar heat, meaning winter ice forms later and gets thinner each season.
Probably at this point to lose the summer sea ice cover at this point is inevitable. I don't see that we can really stop it.
Many climate scientists are trying to communicate what's happening, so any action to deal with global warming is not too late. Guillermo Arduino, CNN, Atlanta.